Many people view our parsha as the climax of the story, when it all starts to go downhill. Today I would like to elaborate on where it all went wrong and how we were led to wander for an extra 40 years in the desert. Am Yisrael is an 11-day walk away from Israel, but they start to complain. They started to reject the manna God had given them. Does that remind you of something? When Jews rejected God's food and gifts, does it sound familiar? When Adam and Chava were in Gan Eden, God had given them everything they had wanted, but God's only rule was to not pick from the tree of knowledge. God's tree, the master's tree. Adam had everything. He had food, but when he picked from his own master's tree and broke God's only rule, he didn't just disrespect God. In this single act, he told God that he didn't want him in his life anymore. So God took away all of his gifts. He gave to him and Chava, and they were kicked out of the Gan Eden, forced to work for food on the sweat of their brow. But one day that changed. After Hashem freed us, his people, from the land of Egypt, he gave us a second chance. He fed us and cared for us once more, like he did with us in Gan Eden. But once more, we rejected to walk with God himself. We rejected the food he gave us only 11 days from the Holy Land, where it would have been like Gan Eden. Once again, God threw us out and decided the death of a generation before we could enter the Holy Land. But why did Israel reject this great gift? In the Torah, it states that the Jews were complaining, but for what? God took care of all their desires. Why would they want anything else? But if you take a closer look into the Torah, what the Jews wanted was to desire. They wanted to want something. The feeling of them having everything they needed and desired was so foreign to them, they made excuses. Oh, we want meat. They started to bring up things they wanted and remembered from Egypt. Am Yisrael wanted to be regular. They didn't want to be fed by the hand of the heavens, but normal as they were in Egypt. In conclusion, this parsha was a roller coaster, and when it all starts to go downhill. But we can learn a lot from this parsha, and that in following the crowd, we lose our sense of individuality and become a herd. But when we elevate ourselves and realize that being irregular isn't a curse, but rather a blessing, then we could truly accept God and walk with Him again.